Hey guys, Daniel here, and welcome back to another edition of my CD collection. And, ooh, what a week. I would get into it, but it's more on a personal level. It's more personal to talk about, but so I'm not gonna really get into that, but let's just say I had a pretty rough week. But last week was good. I just celebrated a birthday, just turned 29. I know, holy Christmas. I feel like I was just a teenager. Here I am pushing 30. My last year as a 20 something. Because next year I'll be 30. So, wow. So, yeah, so let me get on with the show. The first CD I want to show is Cyndi Lauper, True Colors. A beautiful album. And the song True Colors is a really beautiful song. And I know Phil Collins back in the 90s had did a cover of it, and he did a good job, but can't top the original. And Change of Heart is on here, and I love her version, her cover of What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. Very beautiful version of the song. And like I stated in the last video, what my other Cyndi Lauper CD is, she's really good. She really is good. And if you want to hear more about how I feel about it, just check out my other video if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, I love this music. I love it. I love her stuff. Now, next is CD I want to show is TLC, Crazy Sexy Cool. And this is a 90s classic. You got classics like Creep and, of course, Waterfalls, probably their biggest hit of that time. Thing that's crazy about this album is like when this was made and all, like they weren't making any money off of it. I think at the time their manager was screwing them over. If I remember correctly, she was pretty much screwing them, and it's Red Light Special, very sexy song. But on the back you got T-Boz, Chili, and the late left Lisa Left Eye Lopez, who is actually my favorite member of the group. And especially after seeing her documentary that was shown long after her after her death. Like I think she was in Honduras trying to find herself or something like that. Some kind of spiritual journey she was going on, and unfortunately she had lost her life in a car accident trying to avoid hit. It was bad. It was a terrible tragedy, and I remember when it happened. I remember I was like 10 years old at the time, if I'm correct. I was 10 at the time, maybe 11. And when I heard it, I didn't know much about them at the time. I was still pretty young, and I only knew them for No Scrubs and other things, but not as much as I do now. But I thought that's a shame. That is a freaking shame. And what bothered me personally, I'm gonna be honest, is like after her death, they did have a posthumous album technically with her on it, but it was stuff she had recorded when she was still alive that they added into her songs. But it really bothered me. Maybe this is just my personal opinion, and everyone's different. But I felt like it was just not right that they kept on going shortly after her death. I know it's the show must go on, but I don't know. I just felt like it didn't feel like TLC without the L in TLC. See what I did there? I don't know. I mean, the other two are talented as well in their own right, but without their third member, it just feels naked. I mean, it was one thing when Bananarama did this, but when they had lost the original one of their members, not by death but leaving, who will go on to do Shakespeare's Sister, which I heard and it's really good. I really like that. And yeah, and then they did replace that woman with another vocalist, but she didn't stay. She wasn't there for long, and eventually the rest of later stuff, it was just the two other women. So to some people in the 80s, that probably felt like, I don't know, that just didn't feel right without, I don't know, three members. But that's how I feel, that's probably what some people think, and that's how I feel about TLC. So really good album regardless. Very good 90s R&B girl group. Next is the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. This, I remember getting back when I was in high school, I think at the time when I bought this album. Maybe it was a little before high school. And it's such an excellent album. I mean, I'm sure there's even better albums in comparison, but this was pretty excellent. Classics like Give It Away, Under the Bridge, which I love. And this was the last album to feature John Frusciante, if I'm pronouncing that right, before he ended up leaving the group for a few years because of personal issues. The fact that he didn't feel comfortable being in the spotlight and all that, so he felt very uncomfortable. And during the rest of his time away from the band, he was riddled with drug addiction, like serious heroin use. It was unfortunate, but so they ended up getting Dave Navarro when they did One Hot Minute, which I feel was really good. And I feel like people crapped on that album when I bought it and listened to it. I actually enjoyed it. It was different. And I have nothing against Dave Navarro. And whoever thought he was a terrible guitarist for that band, I don't know. I just thought he was good. His style is different from John's. Let's put it that way. So I thought that was a little unfair. They crapped on him. And when I saw a video by Crash Thompson, if those who may have heard of him, he made a video defending the album as One Hot Minute as that album that should have gotten a little bit more appreciation. But I'll talk more about that one day down the line when I show that album. But till then, classic case of the front coming off. So, very good album. Breaking the Girl, a lot of good stuff on here. Next is, I don't know if I showed these. If I did, I apologize. And this one is Viva La Vida by Coldplay and Death to All His Friends. Probably my favorite of the Coldplay albums. There's a lot of stuff, like I mentioned before, I enjoyed, but this was pretty damn good. Just Life in Technicolor, Cemeteries of London, Lost, Lovers in Japan, Reign of Love, really good song. And of course, Viva La Vida, Vile Hill, which is a song I heard from this album first. All really good stuff. Like, I enjoy this album by Coldplay. I remember buying this when it was still new, when it first came out. I think this was not long after it was released, so... But I thought this was really cool. I really enjoyed the progression they made when they did this album. A bit different from their previous stuff, in my opinion, if you really listen to this compared to everything before that. I see signs of that in X and Y, but this one they went fully more committed to a different sound than their previous stuff, which is a good change up. Not so sure about the stuff that came out after this. Maybe I'll give it, like I said in the past, I will give this another shot somewhere down the line. So, yeah, but I really do like this. Definitely worth buying at the time. And not last but not least, I don't know, like I said, I don't remember if I showed this. If I did, I apologize, because I got so many CDs, and I should have at least checked back on my previous videos to make sure I didn't, repeat myself. So, if I didn't show this, then okay, but if I did, I apologize. So, another Coldplay album, Rush of Blood to the Head. Probably one of the first things I remember from this album was In My Place. God Put a Smile on Your Face. The Scientist, a beautiful song, and Clocks, a song I always really liked when I was a kid. That was one of my first memories of actually liking something more on the calmer side of things, so I enjoy that. Green Eyes, beautiful song. Just such a really good album. And I'm glad I have this. And like I say, I feel like some people never gave Coldplay a fair shot for those who just dismiss them as a boring, bland band. I don't really think so. To maybe others, then that's fine. That's your opinion. I respect it. To each his own. But I've really always appreciated Coldplay for their music, and especially at the age it was at the time, I was more into like heavier music. Like I was just into what I thought was considered cool. But as you get older and I listen to this album, I really appreciate it every time I hear it. Just beautiful songs. Yeah, if you haven't heard this album, where have you been? But I'm sure people who heard the later stuff, the more pop oriented stuff, they probably could like this version, this era of Coldplay just as much. But it might be different for them. They might like it or they might find it boring. Everyone's different. But if you haven't heard it yet, if you're a younger person, check it out. You'll appreciate how the progression of their music has evolved with each album. Just give it a fair chance. Alright. I think it's the first time I actually managed to finish this video before the 20-minute mark, which is a record. That and not rambling on for like a whole minute or two really helps. So I just cut to the chase and just get right for it. So I'm going to be doing more of these, like I said before. There's going to be more to come, so I say keep an eye out for the next video. And sorry, I went blank there for a second. Well, anyway, not important. Guys, enjoy your day, and see you in the next video.